to Everyone Racers,
a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing
and an oddball car culture.
It doesn't matter what kind of Limit Champ or Lucky Track Dog League you run.
SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate.
as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself.
Join us each week for tech discussions,
Tips and tricks, as well as news and notes.
From the world of amateur endurance racing.
And whether it's on the spot, hella sweet when we're lucky enough, and Chrissy.
Chris.
And I give you just the tip.
We're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less.
Everyone report to the paddock.
Let's get on to the main topic. The main topic is Thompson race. It's coming up.
So Thompson Lake, Chrissy, say the name. Which you can find on Lemon's wrap-up video from like 5 years ago. She's the only one that can say it. It's Thompson. It is the scene of some of our most epic sting of loss and one of our greatest ever victories. Here's what you need to know, and stay tuned, because at the end of it is our famous and patented E1R virtual track walk.
Okay. I feel like I have a question that to confirm that this is not last year's information. Can I confirm that?
I changed one thing in your text to make it more pertinent to this year versus last year.
And I changed a couple things too.
Okay, good. Well, you can keep changing while I talk.
Yeah.
Okay. So drivers meeting. I think most drivers meetings are in person. So make sure that if they announce that, make sure that you show up. And I believe spectators are around, are able to show up. Parking is always at a premium. If you do have spectators, chances are you're going to have somebody park far away. Sometimes you have to either walk, or they might have some kind of truck to bring you over to get you a little bit closer, but chances are you are not going to be able to park over the bridge in the parking lot. And even if you get over there in your car, there's nowhere to park. So just plan to not do that if you're coming, especially if you're coming or you know that somebody's coming during the race. If you so when you get there, make sure that you have your license ready. Get both wristbands at the gate. Be very kind to those people, because every time they have issues, usually they're short-staffed like the whole world, but sometimes the line's a little slow. Maybe like to chat with people, and just be patient with people if you can, especially if there's a line. Tech schedule should be posted, so you should make sure you show up at the time. Make sure that everything that you do is tech is really organized these days, so it's pretty awesome to be able to go over and get in line. You don't really have to wait in that line that long, but make sure that you are so schedule is on the Lemons page for the race. Might have been emailed as well. Usually sometimes it is, but
I've definitely confirmed it's on the race page.
Great.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it'll be publicized, but have an idea of when your tech time is. So when they call your number, you're not the last guy that's hasn't showed up for their tech time. They do like to keep that all organized for everybody. If you've never been to Thompson, or even if you have, you will recall that the pack space is tiny. You don't have a whole lot of room, even just for your stuff, for your cars, for your RVs. So it's really everything's really small. If there's going to be any rain, might be in a bog, because that happens. So when you get there, you are going to go over the bridge, head to the left, and squat where you want. If you're going to go right after the bridge, it's where the team with garages, for where the other half lives. That's where we'll be. But don't plan to park your RV over in front of the garage just because you get there first or something like it, because if you have a garage space, that's where your space is. So don't take other people's spots. Wear your suit to gear tech. Hopefully you know that this is the thing now, making sure you can only carry your shoes. Just wear them, don't carry anything.
Carry your shoes.
Oh, okay.
I always wore them. I've never had a problem with that.
No, me neither.
They can look at them a little better if they're off your sweaty ass foot.
Sure. Yes.
I was just like this.
I do the same.
Yep.
So I do.
SFI rated foot there, Jeff.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm down with all that, but having done a lot of this, a lot of people get annoyed, or they've got if you just got out of the car or something, but people get annoyed when they have to put on all the gear, and really all we care about is wearing the suit so that you can see if there's any tears in there. And it was a spinoff of 2020 when that was just easier than us having to reach into stuff. But if you're holding your shoes, and I can see those FSFI tags, if you're wearing them, that works too, but you don't have to put them on.
It's so much better than some random dude dropping his bag of sweaty gear on the table and expecting you to rifle through it and find the stuff.
Ew.
Hell no.
I've had that conversation at least once at every race that I work. You know, even if I'm not doing the gear tech, I'll say, yeah, hey man, put the suit on. Oh, why do I have to do that now? And I'll just straight up tell them in front of everybody, so I don't have to touch your stinky, sweaty gear.
Ew. I did gear. I did gear. Yeah, right. I did gear tech, and they lay it down, and I was like, I'm not touching that. No, I'm not. Like, don't even ask me.
We're looking for tears.
Yeah,
you know, and holes and stuff like that.
Ew. Anyway, just keep your sweaty stuff to yourself. And if you don't ever share a suit with a person, just say it.
No one who's ever done that does it more than once.
I know. I'm just telling you. If
no
you
one's
happen
ever
to be
seen anyone else doesn't
no, just thinking about people's gross.
Wasn't there a group of kids at CMP once that we saw do this, that they only had like one or two suits between them, so they'd get out of the car at CMP.
I've told the story of watching the kids at Texas at Eagles Canyon doing it.
Oh, that makes me shiver. Oh, that's disgusting. Okay, all right, back to stuff that happens at Thompson. So nearby, Walmart and two parts stores are the south one exit. It's not close. So you have to drive wherever you're going to end up going because the track is in the middle of nowhere. There's another Webster, Mass is north and has some more other stuff. Gas stations are either north or south. South is slightly cheaper as CT gas is less expensive than Mass. Is that true? Not sure that's true.
Everything has less tax in Massachusetts.
I checked it the other day.
Okay, good. Thanks. There's nothing around the track, so don't plan to leave and go find somewhere except for Jeff's favorite things at the track. So they have a restaurant and an ice cream shop, which I don't even want to tell you about because we're apparently going to go to the ice cream shop. It is right on.
We are.
Right, it's right on the premises. You don't even have to go anywhere. Jeff, there's usually a Dunkin' truck there that's usually stays there, and as long as their sales are good. So if they're gonna they'll tell you when they're leaving usually. And there is a Friday night. We already talked about this. Friday night potluck dinner.
Friday.
Yes.
Not Saturday. Friday.
And I did this because Saturday we raced till 6:30, and I decided that by the time track goes cold, everybody comes in, and then their car might be broken. We're not going to eat till midnight. So we're moving it to Friday because time's a little bit more flexible that day. So we're going to do the same timing though, 6:30 setup, 7:00 dinner. And everybody better show up with some food. The food better be warm. Bring your serving spoons, and unless
it's ice cream, don't make that warm.
True. Yes. Or if it's not supposed to be warm, bring it cold. Thank you. I will specify one way or another because if you're bringing cold carrots with ranch dip, don't make them warm. Anyway, don't bring potato salad, don't bring a half-eaten pizza, and don't bring an open bag of chips. These are my limitations of what we should not be bringing.
Which is interesting. I'm enjoying, like, one of the legacies of the show is now everyone always says BMW is boring. It's almost like a Pavlovian response. And I've noticed, especially in the feedback when you had Tim Burr on the show about, and Tim is just a great guy to party with. You know, he brings his dog to the West Coast races. He's awesome. But after the Tim show, everyone agrees potato salad is just the worst. Yep. Yes. We do a potluck when we're running Red Flag because we get really busy and we don't eat. So every night one person signs up to bring food to feed everyone on the staff. And one of the rules is don't bring potato salad. It's just, it's actually written, don't bring it. We won't eat it. And then it sits in the fridge till we throw it out.
That's absolutely true. And then when you bring two, because you think, I say bring as much as your team needs, or, you know, if you have five guys, bring enough for how many people that you think are coming. So they buy two, and 3 teams do this. And then you have 50,000 pounds of potato salad that you don't actually want.
If one person takes a spoonful to be polite, they don't even eat that because no one eats potato salad.
True.
I think good potato salad gets eaten, but nobody brings that. They bring
crappy
stuff from the supermarket.
We made some for our own use on
you were
Saturday night.
Say this.
fresh and has bacon deliciousness.
And we made it, so it's good. But when you go to the store, don't buy it. Just get it like a bag, whatever. It's not that hard. We should have enough plates, and we have definitely enough plates, forks, spoons. There should be okay. Bring a chair and drink. Bring something to share. Bring a good attitude. Okay, enough of that. Let's go about the track.
So those of you who remember the old days of Thompson, remember waiting in that hella long line on Friday morning because they wouldn't let us in.
Down the road.
Blocking the 2-lane farm road with no runoff. Yeah.
It was bad. But yeah, we get to enter on Thursday these days. Thursday, 3 to 10 p.m. Do not come late. You cannot get in. Friday, 7 a.m. again. So that's where the long line will be. But it won't be so long because all the smart people get in on Thursday. I guess we won't be sleeping in the Walmart parking lot and freaking out the
those were
Walmart
the times.
staff. Drunk
the
2 in the morning.
Days of Fantastic Shark and Pantless Matt riding a bicycle into
so good.
Soggy. Like waking up and being like, who the F it brought that piece of crap tow vehicle with spray paint? Oh, it's soggy. Never mind.
Yeah, or Yuri. No.
I mean, we know what Yuri's looks like. I mean, I feel like soggy every year would bring something different. Anyway, testing day is racing is Saturday 9 to 6, Sunday noon to 5. This is like the new capital offense race. We don't do anything until noon the next day, so we party all night. Saturday is extra long. Could work out for you if you have that kind of fuel strategy. Worked out for us once. Anyway, testing day is run by the track. It's $200. It's all ahead of time, so you must sign up on the Thompson website now. Can you register on site? I actually wasn't sure of that.
I think you can, but you're so much better off doing it ahead of time.
Yeah.
I think it might be cheaper.
In some years they have allowed passengers an instruction. We can never guarantee because I think they got a new track manager last year, right?
Yeah, he was totally fine with it last year.
He was totally fine with it. So we don't know. We never know for sure because they will not specifically say that on the website anywhere, but hopefully they will. So bring your passenger seat, whatever. Testing runs from 10 to 1:15 and then 1:40 to 5 o'clock. So there's a lunch break, but it's a long one and there's no sessions. It's just go out there and do some laps until it's lunch break and then do some laps after lunch break. Track walk, according to the track website, is 5 to 7, or Lemon says it is 6 to 7:30. So who the F knows what's going on with the track walk, but this is one of the places where we do usually get to do a track walk. So yeah, do the track walk. Do track walks, people. It's really important.
And schedule that track walk in time to get off the track, get your food, and be at the potluck.
Yeah.
Get going, basically, as soon as they let you.
As soon as they let us. So the grass, there's the Black Lake, there's all different places, kind of like side nooks to park. We've already said parking is tough. But you can paddock on grass. So there's a lot of people who end up paddocking on grass on the access road. It's kind of a free for all. There's like this one area where you can't paddock on the hill by turn 10, but just be prepared because, paddocking on the grass is not awesome and you do need to be prepared for it. Like if you're going to put your stuff on jack stands and stuff, you need to have boards and plates and things to keep all that stable. So just be aware you might be on grass. There are some garages. They're all booked. If you were like, oh yeah, Jeff said there's a garage, I'll go. No, it's gone. There is pavement near the garages, but that's reserved for the people with garages. And they are painted lines that say this spot belongs to that garage. So you can't just park in front of your garage. You have to be inside the lines. They're big angled kind of parking spots. There's a giant light post in front of one of ours usually. Anyway, you need to know what your spot is. You just can't take whatever spot. You have to go to the spot that you are reserved for you. There are it would be great. Okay, here's the deal. This is a community. If we all move our trailers on the other side of the track, on the bridge, there's a giant like gravel. There's a section of grass and lawn out there.
It's part of
There's-
the infield of the oval that
Oh,
we're
the
not
oval
using.
too. Yeah, I mean, there's the
That's
gravel
where it
lot
is.
too.
But that's filled with spectators usually.
Oh, is
so,
it? Okay, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
that
go out there.
they usually have the trailers all go on the inside of the oval and the part that we don't use.
Oh, and some people have camped inside the oval too. I
Yeah,
don't
Scott
know what the
McMichael
deal-
was out there last year. He was the only one. He was enjoying the peace and quiet and serenity, taking
you go.
showers outside.
Well, I just got a vision of that, and it like stopped me for a second. Oh, whoa. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Yeah. So there's the infield, and there's also the gravel lot. I guess they want trailers on the infield. I apologize for that. Fuel. How do we fuel at Thompson? In the hot pits or at the pumps, right? It's the way that it always is. But the pumps are kind of like in the corner, like it's kind of hard to get to. A lot of times you have to reverse out because it's not like on an access road. So like, don't think you're going to drag your truck and trailer and go over there and your F4 750 and pump that puppy up. It's kind of a little spot. So usually we bring like our wagon and our fuel cans because it's not easy to get the race car there. Fuel prices are reasonable. It's hard to say that any fuel price is reasonable these days, but
it's not that much more at the track than it is outside, at least not compared to most racetracks.
Yeah,
which
we have done the math, and it's moderately different. It's a little different, but it's not tragically different. I will say that there's this. They've never run out. They always have plenty. There's a tanker truck waiting to refill the tank if they need to. Unlike some other tracks which have run out. There's this whole thing with your credit card where you have to put your credit card in, fuel, and then put your credit card in again to get your receipt out. So if you sit there and you're like, hey, I ain't getting a receipt, and then you walk away, someone will show up and put their, it's just put your credit card in.
What'll happen is the next time you go to get gas, you put your card in and it just spit
and
a
then it
receipt
just
out,
puts out your receipt.
and it
out.
won't
Yeah,
do anything else for you, and you can't get
like,
gas.
why
And
the
you're
hell
sitting there
can't I
yelling
get
at
gas?
it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's what happens every time.
It's kind of crazy.
So don't be the old people that yell at the fuel pumps.
Dip it when you're done to get your receipt. That's all that matters. Yeah, I want to talk really quickly about the blend line here. This is the most violated blend line in the East. I think that there is shaking your hand. You're not. This blend
People
line.
at Jersey are pretty good. New Hampshire's pretty good. Pitt, most part, they're pretty good. Oh, they violated from the track, but yeah, Tom, I agree with Jeff. Of the 4 East Coast or usual tracks, this is when people try to pass over it all the time. People come out of it.
It's at the end
unexpectedly.
Of a long straight.
Okay, I misunderstood your statement, and it is the most often violated not by people coming off the pit lane, but by racers on the track. And yes,
that's what I'm talking about. I meant people are dive bombing turn 1, and they're going over they're over the line for the blend line into the part where the people are trying to blend in,
and they have zero tolerance.
Yes. It's not a hard line. It's easy. It's straight. It's not like it goes around a turn like in New Hampshire or any of these other weird places. So just mind your damn blend line and keep your frickin' passes on the racing surface. Asshole. Raise your hand if you've been hit. There you go. 2 out of 4 of us have been hit on a blend line violation here.
Got knocked sideways at 115. That was exciting.
Yep.
We have that famous Burt Reynolds photograph of you laying on those skid marks of the guy coming into you. It's a great one.
Yep.
Anyway, that's what I want to say. I will be at the ice cream. The ice cream place is great. Chrissy mentioned it. They have like Maine blueberry and all these other like homemade flavors. So check it
out. Now, Chris, I see the map that you've brought up. I also have one that it's a fully animated version that shows the where the pumps are and everything. But if you want to stick with yours, I'm just offering.
Let's look at this for this part. Let's talk about this. If you want to show the pumps later, great. But I want to be able to point to the stuff I'm talking about.
Go for it.
While I'm going through it, if that's okay with you.
No, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be helpful.
No, I appreciate it. Track walkthrough. You may have heard this before, if you've heard this show for the last couple of years, but it never hurts to hear it again and get back in the right mindset for remembering the track before all of a sudden you're out there Saturday morning and say, where does it go again? Yeah. But I would. Yes, sir.
We do not expect rain this weekend, correct?
Friday we do.
Oh, okay.
Last I saw was a 60% chance of rain on Friday, and Friday's gonna be the hottest day, like in the low to mid 90s. It is going to cool off to the high 80s on Saturday and Sunday, with low chance of rain, like 30% on Saturday. I think we're clear on Sunday.
Okay.
Last I
Because
saw.
that makes a difference with the track walk, whether we talk about the potential rain or
Sure.
the potential floods and things.
Yep, we'll talk mostly dry line right now because I think we're
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
be mostly dry. All right, so like Jeff said, blend line, come out, stay right all the way to turn 1. That's that. If you're coming down the straight, watch out for the kink in the track. That is where the blend line comes on. It doesn't look like much at first, but when you're going 110 miles an hour, it feels like a lot. Now, the track also narrows at that point down to kind of, 3 is challenging, 2 is more comfortable. So just be careful for that neck down as you're coming into 1.
And this is the reason people violate the blend line, by the way.
Yep.
And
It expands out after the kink
Yeah.
into where the blend is. But once you're already down to 2, just stay in the 2 and don't be that guy being the third one on the inside trying to come on the bloodline.
And to piggyback on Chris's thing, even if you understand that the track narrows there, bear in mind there's a ton of people that have no idea that the track narrows there. And just check your mirrors real quick in case you're in a slower car and someone's about to do something really stupid.
Yeah, it's a tough pinch point, especially early in the day when people haven't driven it yet.
And I think a lot of people fight for what they think the apex is. And I think that gets a little hairy in there.
Mm-hmm. You don't need to apex it. Just go through the corner.
No, just go through the corner.
It's a kink, but
yeah,
you can do it flat. Just make sure you're sorted out with traffic first. So coming into 1, it is worthy to note that it is uphill coming into 1 right up until it's not. So really, and that flattens out after the 1 board. It starts to go downhill. So as you're coming into this, especially around the 3 and 4 boards, it's a great time to brake, and you can brake really late because you're going uphill. So you're loading up your tires more. It's slowing you down. But you want to get that braking done, or mostly done, a little earlier than you might expect, because you're going to lose that braking once you get past the 1 board. This is a great corner to trail your brakes into, though, if you are up to that kind of thing, because you're carrying so much speed. You just have to be mindful of the change in traction you're going to get at the 1 board when you go over that hill. And also the track will then go immediately to off camber, which is not helping you get through the corner. So be wary of that, but give trail braking a try when there's no one around you. It's a good time to learn it. That's a great corner for it. So 1 is off camber, but you do get that camber back right around the time you get to the apex. So if you might be understeering originally as you get through it, that's okay. You're probably going to get it caught once you get through the apex. The curbing on the inside of 1 is kind of big. Try not to go over it. Not the friendliest. Curbing on the outside of 1 into 2 is friendly until it's not. And there's a big ditch on the outside of that curbing. And when your teammate drives your Civic over that ditch, it's going to tear the splitter off. So
that's me.
Yep. So watch out for that one.
Just 1 goat.
Splitter. Just 1 splitter.
Just 1 splitter.
So no, because if you completely destroyed that goat to where it has to be rebuilt after you built that goat, it's more than just 1 goat.
It wasn't that
Yep.
bad. It's a little bit.
No, it was.
Can I mention why this happens? This happens
No,
because you missed
no,
the apex.
no. We're talking about track walk.
No, I'm saying
not
if you
pertinent to the
early
story.
apex
Nope.
1.
Nope.
No, the mental. It's okay. I like where he's going with this.
Yeah. The reason that you do this is because you early apex 1, and early apexing 1 is going to push you wide into that hole. So don't do it. Mind your late apex here.
Yep. Go a little later. Now 2 is basically just a extension of 1 and set up for 3. Once you've kind of come through 1 nicely, just go through 2. You can do it full throttle. Hit the apex of 2, and then I track out about 2/3 of the way to the left between 2 and 3, because you do need to get back all the way to the right for 3, because 3 is a more important corner. 3 is if you have a car that's got some power, this is a great place to pass people too. If you have a car that does not have power, watch out for those that do. 3 is a pretty standard 90-degree left. It is slightly off camber on the outside. so careful. And it does go uphill right after. You can probably carry more speed than you think through it because you can't see around it. So it makes you think you need less speed, but it's pretty decent. There's a flag station that's in the inside of 3 that you must mind because you have no idea what's going on the other side of that hill. And sometimes something will happen in 4 and back it all right up. So be mindful of that flag station. Your end of braking for 3 is just before you turn it. All right, 4, between 3 and 4 is a downhill and then an uphill, and then right before 4, it's another one of those where it crests over a hill and you lose all your braking again. So be mindful of that as you're braking in for 4, and you're gonna have to brake a lot for 4 because it is a very tight hairpin. You can go through it too wide, and we will plenty of times. If you're going through by yourself, I found the best way to go through is a single late apex with a push wide on track out. So you're coming into it, stay all the way left, brake as you enter the corner, trail your brake, come off of it, and then your apex is going to be the 2/3 of the way around is where I think is the best apex. But then make sure you bring your eyes up. Got to bring your eyes up to see where you're going on track out. Look at that exit curbing and down that little straight. Otherwise, you're just going to get bound up and not going to be able to get out of that corner very well. I've seen it 100 times.
And so that it narrows significantly, and there's also a lot of other cars that won't recognize that when they come through that corner or try to do something stupid like pass you on the outside.
Yeah, it widens up nicely between 4 and 5 though, so you've got a little room to do something, but then it narrows down again, of course, like it does every time.
And let me mention something here really quick. It is, depending on your Hans device and stuff, it is very hard to look through this corner. You need to make a plan to turn your head and turn your eyes to really get your eyes to where they need to be.
Mm-hmm. And I like to look around the corner a bit before I even start the corner.
I do
when
too.
you can still see it. To see
I didn't know whether you're supposed to be doing that or not, but that's what I usually do.
A bit, just see what kind of traffic I'm gonna have to deal with there, just as a safety thing, because there's just so much there. 5 to 6. So after you come through 4, it widens up, but then narrows down again. 5, the corner between 5 and 6, it's all kind of one. That's where the bridge is between 5 and 6. This can be a single apex where you come down kind of toward the middle of 5 and go all the way out. And then your single apex is going to be all the way in the inside of 6, really. There's a spot on the pavement. There's a black triangle at the end of the inside curbing. That should be your apex. You feel like you don't even see it until you do, and then you can't miss it. It's pretty much all the way around.
And Chris had told me that for years. He was calling it the Dorito, and I thought I knew what he was talking about. But if you think you see the spot that Chris is talking about, you don't see it, because once you see it, it is blatantly obvious the Dorito that he's talking about.
Yeah. I found that I think in general, it's a little faster to do a double apex here if there's no one else around. So coming from 4, stay out to the right and then cut the corner of 5, but then go, make it a V, go all the way back out to the outside of 5 to then cut the corner of 6 at the Dorito. And this is especially important to late apex 6, like more than any other corner on the whole track, because you lose all of your camber and then some as soon as you cross into the oval, because you are now on the roundy round oval, and roundy round ovals are only cambered to the inside, and you are going the other way. So you're going to go from no camber to the wrong way quite significantly. And if you do not if you do early apex this, you're going to push wide. You're probably going to be on the curbing at the very start of the curbing, if not before it. And there's a big ditch on the outside of this curbing from people who early apex 6. So really, please try to late apex 6. That ditch at the outside of between 6 and 7 is serious. Also, if you get a good run, because you listen to this, you slow down enough in between 5 and 6 to blast out of 6, you can pass a lot of people on that straight between 6 and 7 as you're coming. So you're on the speedway oval, and it widens out beautifully here. You can go 3 or 4 wide. This is where you're going to need, make your passes, but watch out for people around you who don't know what they're doing, because coming into 7, there's 3 different lines for 7. And we'll talk 7 and 8 together, really, because this is the top end of the oval, the speedway oval. So the 3 lines are, you can come up with the inside of 6 and just hug the inside all the way around. And that's safe, keeps you out of the trouble. And sometimes, depending on who's around, that might be the fastest way through the corner. There's also a middle line that some people take, which is kind of going just enough off of the inside line to go around somebody, but not really going any further. And I think that's the slowest way around personally, but sometimes you have to take it through traffic. What I think is the fastest way to do it, which I've tried them all with lap times and testing, and this one seems to be the worst, but best for me, is out of 6, keep on your throttle as long as, like, way longer than you think coming into 7. Go all the way to the left up onto the banking of 7, and they have a bunch of cones set up. You want to go almost all the way to the cones there. And once you're at the cones, you're braking and turning hard at the cones because you're on the banking. You can turn way harder than you think you can. So get that turning done on the banking. And then as soon as you get to the bottom, you do have to change your steering position a little bit because you're hitting the bottom, which is good for compression, but then you're losing it. So you're not going to be able to keep that same steering angle as you go through there. But by doing that, you carry more speed between 6 and 7. I think more speed into it. And then you've got a decent line out through 8. So once you've done that in 7, eventually you gradually tuck yourself into the corner. Apex is about 2/3 of the way around it before you come out to 8. 8, I think there's 3 ways out of 8 too. One is you stay all the way inside on the curbing, and it's a nice safe line. It's a super late apex, and you do get through a lot of people. If you go to the middle zone here, you're going to hit a pretty significant bump in the seam between the tracks. And once you've done it once, you'll say, oh, that's that bump. Okay. And you can tell because the paint is different at that bump because people have hit it. So usually if I find myself unable to make the inside line here, I'll just bail and go further out because it's a much smoother transition out. I think you can get on the gas a little earlier there and you avoid that big upsetting bump that happens coming out of 8. Mm-hmm. And this is as you're staring at the wall that says Thompson with a star on it.
Yeah.
As you're coming out.
Thompson star. You can very clearly see the rubber where the bumps are and where the bumps aren't. So I kind of like staying to the inside of the track as long as you can. Like, I think that's the smoothest exit.
Totally. I agree. But you have to have a late enough apex to do it.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a gut check moment, but Chris kept telling me about that, coming wide and taking that smoother transition. And what do you use the star as a visual reference for between Thompson Speedway? The star?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I have to be there and see it.
It was even more than once. It was just kind of one of those, okay, that worked. Oh God, that was awful. And then second time, and after a while, it really was just a lot smoother, especially given the jarring bit of that transition. But
yeah, if you don't hit that bump part, it's so much better. So either stay all the way inside, it's nice and smooth and easy, or go up a little higher than you think it makes sense geometrically. It avoids that bump, and it's a nice path out.
And if you've got a faster car or you've got some really good momentum coming out of 7, that upper line does make sense. But if you're just trying to get around some slower traffic and not get in their way, that's a good exit.
But I just want to mention again, visually, if you're not in the spot you want to be, use your eyes, find the part, because there's holes in the bump and less bumpy parts, when you're dicing traffic, sometimes you could be like, I can see that it's smooth right there, I'm going there.
Yeah.
Even though it's not where I want to be, I'm going to get around this jackass by going there today.
It's smoother, it's probably faster because it's smoother, and it's less hard on the car that you're hitting those bumps. All right, so 8 to 9, straight between 8 and 9. This is on the Speedway oval and exiting the oval. I like to get back to the right a little bit because really all you're doing is setting yourself up for 9. And this is a spot where between 8 and 9 at the transition where so many people lose so much speed. What I think is the best way to do is, go be on the right, driver's right, halfway down the straight, and then right where the transition is between 8 and 9, clip the driver's left at that transition as you go over the bump, and stay on the gas. And even if you're not full throttle over the bump, stay on the gas. Everyone wants to lift. They want to so badly. And they also want to come into the corner much further out. And I don't think it's faster. I think it's slower. So stay in, go over the bump. Once you're over the bump, brake in a straight line. And you can brake really hard because the corner kind of bottoms out from elevation change there. And you're going to give up 9 entirely anyway. 9 is a left-hand turn before the 10-11 section. So you're going to give 9 up anyway. So come over the bump, stay straight, brake in a straight line, and really go almost all the way to driver's right before you turn in for 9.
And I'm going to
might
say
not make
here,
sense now, but it's going to make sense when you do it.
I'm going to say here again, this is another place where having multiple options helps, because there's so many times where that inside perfect line is taken by the person who is going to stand on their brakes, because there's a bit of a butt pucker here.
Yep. And you can go around outside. You can do that, but
I actually like the outside. I think sometimes that's not that it's the perfect line, but I think it's a lot of times a better traffic line.
And you're all also missing the track again, narrows significantly there.
Yeah.
And you'll see people trying to go into that 3 wide, and there is not space for 3 cars, but they are going to try multiple times.
And watch the flag station that's, as you're coming down that straight between 8 and 9, it's straight ahead of you. You're like, oh, am I going to hit those guys? Yeah, but really watch out for that one, because you need to know what's going on to the left. So, all right. So
there's at least one race that just totally like locks up here and comes to an almost complete stop. And like,
because they don't know where the track goes.
Very easy. Not to say it's easy to screw up. New people screw this up a lot.
Well, because you are departing the party zone right now. That's the stock car oval, and you are departing that, and it's counterintuitive.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So the 9, 10 you have to think of them as a series, really. So if you've come over, between 8 and 9, end of braking is just before turn in for 9, but you do not want your apex of 9 is your track out. That's it. As soon as you get there, you'll see a little straight stretch and where the curbing is, and between 9 and 10, and you just want your car to come right into that straight stretch. So from driver's right to driver's left, right to that straight stretch, and let the chassis just settle for just a second, because you're about to turn into 10. And you need the speed, really, you're carrying so much speed from 8, or from the straight between 8 and 9. You want to carry that as far into 9 as you can. That's why you're doing this, and to set yourself up properly for 10. 10 is really also just a setup corner for 11, which is what sends you down the straight. So really this whole series works together. So 10 is a 90-degree right, off camber, downhill. So you're coming from driver's left, hit the apex on driver's right, and then track back out. I mean, it's a standard 90-degree corner. That's fine. You may or may not need to brake as you do that in between the two. It depends on your car. But as you really just watch for the off camber. After 10, go all the way outside to driver's left for the curbing. Depending on your car, you may or not need to brake for 11. In some cars we've had, it was just a lift was adequate. Some you had to touch the brakes to settle the nose. But really, everyone's going to need at least a lift, I think, to settle the nose. So 11 is your setup.
It is, I want to say significant, but noticeable elevation change.
Yep. 11 is your setup for the long straight. And if you get this corner right and you're early on the gas here, you're carrying it for so long. This is really important. It is a deceptive corner. It looks small going in. You can't see your way out, and it puckers you up a little bit, but you can carry a lot of speed. There is a huge amount of track out. The track widens up after 11 for a while before it narrows down again, because that's what it does. So don't be afraid if you have to end up pushing wide in 11. There's lots of room. So after you've done your little lift or your brake at 10, ease back into the gas, and by the time you're at that apex, make sure you're full throttle, because it will hold. You're also going to be going uphill after you kind of getting through 11, giving you more traction. So and then you crest the hill right after the end of 11. So if depending on how settled your car suspension is, I suggest you be straight before you go over that hill, because going over that hill at a significant speed with a car that's loaded up on one side makes for an interesting trip over the hill.
And not just about your car. Watch other people who don't understand what Chris just explained, because you'll be lining them up to pass on the outside, and they have every intention of letting you do it, but then they don't realize that they've loaded their car up the wrong way, and then it unloads on them and it does things that they did
Gets
not
real
intend
light
it
and
to
floats,
do.
yeah. And especially on the outside, right around that time, the track narrows again, as it does.
Yeah.
And therefore, you're all of a sudden going to be SOR right out of road.
Is that a spinning or
Yeah. Or this is a lot of people go off there because they get pushed off, and because they can't
Pretty
do
sure
it.
I've said, don't pinch me, don't pinch me. No, 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 no. Right.
If you're trying to set up a slower car or an ill handling car for a pass, 99 times out of 100, unless they are really, really good, in which case you probably aren't setting them up for a pass, you're going to want to go on the inside.
Yeah. Or ease up for just a second. Let them get over the hill. Let them get the car settled. Like you know, coming into the corner, what's ahead of you. If it's slow enough and it's going to be a problem, just ease off a little so that you are setting yourself up to be at maximum delta after the hill once they land. And then you will be able to have a much safer way around them. So over the hill, please.
Go on. I just want to say something about the kind of the 10-11 section.
Yeah, please.
So we've been racing this for years, and we focused on this track a lot because we thought the fuel burn and stuff really matched the Civic well, and we were trying to win here a lot. And I worked really hard to get 5 and 6 right, and the 7, 8, because there's multiple ways to do it, and even 9, because I think that's the hardest turn of the track. But my times fell a lot when I learned 10, 11. Because the old adage of what is the most important turn on the track, Chrissy, what's the most important turn on the track?
One right before the straight.
Exactly. And I think even though this is a relatively easy section, any slight error affects your lap time way more than it does in other places. Like you can do 5 and 6 multiple ways. We talked about the single or the double apex. You can do 7, 8 on the high line or the low line, wherever traffic is. You can do 9 or 10 in different ways depending on where traffic is. But you better do 10 and 11 right if you want to make good times.
If you're 8 miles an hour slower through 11, you're carrying that 8 miles an hour for a long time.
And it's multiplying because you're accelerating from a spot that might not be on the RPMs. Chrissy, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Your hand is up.
Nope. I'm just adding to this corner. I also, get on the gas fast. If you want to hear my thing that I tell myself as I'm going around this track
is a song?
No, it's a statement. It is turbo power. And I tell myself about it as you're going into the apex of 11. And because that's when you get on the gas faster, I think about it. So hopefully you'll think about it because you don't hesitate. Every time you hesitate, I say, no, hesitate, turbo power. Anyway, that's not what I was going to say. The flagging station at 11 before pit in is very important. So as you didn't mention, I was waiting to see if you're going to say that.
Thank you.
So there's a flagging station. Sometimes every once in a while they have they leave their yellow out and it's kind of confusing, but anyway, this is a blind hill before you go onto the straight as you're coming up the hill. So as you're coming up the hill, if everything stops, which sometimes it is, I'm sorry, I have a podcat here. if you, it's all stopped and you can't, she can't hear you.
I have a message for podcat.
She's also deaf and only my headphones can hear. What's up, Jeff? Anyway, this is bad podcasting. If it's stopped on the straight or something's happening or somebody's stuck in pit in, that guy's going to tell you about it. So make sure that you're looking up as you're coming up over that hill, and they'll tell you what's going on. So very important to look eyes up, especially when you're really focused on who you're going to get around. What's the straight going to look like? Make sure you glance over. It's going to be obviously on your right because they're going to give you a pretty big indication of what's going on.
Yep. And then be smart, deal with traffic down the straight. Pit in is immediately on the other side of the hill on the right-hand side. You'll find your lane. You're just going to have to deal with it as with the traffic as you go down the straight, but the line really doesn't matter down the straight. Everyone kind of goes wherever they're going to go. Just be mindful of that. Watch the kink narrows down, watch pit out.
If you're slow and you want somebody, this is a fine time to point by. If you are slow and you think somebody behind you is going to be faster, it's helpful to know which side you plan on, because it's not straight at all. It's because it kind of narrows and then it gets bigger, and then you might be going 3 wide. If you want everybody to go and you want to hug the one side and tell everybody to go the other way, it's helpful.
Agreed. Yeah, the driver communication here is nice to have for getting people around because of that. You're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think that's about it. Anything else?
If I just want to, I hate the phrase piggyback, but it sounds all kinds like TQ. May I share the screen, please?
Go right ahead. If you hit share, it'll unshare his.
So
unshared.
One of the great things about Thompson is this is a multi-use facility. They have a paved stock car oval. They have the drift track. So you have pavement doing all kinds of things that is just blocked off with cones. And everything that Chris was talking about in relation to knowing where you are, knowing how to do the track. Now, if you genuinely feel that as a driver, you have gotten to the point where you can get the 80% solution out of any corner, know where the apex is, know where the fastest line is, know where the exit is, and how to do it so properly. This is one of the best tracks to start working on your racecraft. Pay attention to what the other cars are doing, understanding that it's endurance racing. So in 20 minutes, there's a completely different driver in that car, and it's suddenly way faster than it was a few minutes ago. But looking at the track here, for example, there's a turnoff there. This is the clubhouse turn that Chris was talking about. This is where the Dorito is. If you're looking on the screen, I'm going through these corners, and this is the line through the 7 and 8, which you're going counter to the normal oval. And you're turning off the stock car oval, going in the chute into the diving turn and all of this. But because there is so much pavement going in different directions, there's a lot of new drivers or even drivers that are unfamiliar with this track that are going to get distracted and make mistakes. And not just seeing the car in front of you, but observing the car in front of you and recognizing what their tendencies are going to be. This is a great place for you to start practicing that. And this is where you can probably learn how to take a slower car and get around a faster car if you're the better driver.
Very cool.
And I'm sorry, you know what? I screwed this all up. This is terrible podcasting, but also this is the most important thing, according to Jeff, at least from our Slack channel last year, is up here, just past everything in the parking lot of the Clubhouse restaurant right there. That's where the ice cream parlor is.
Right where that little green dollar sign is.
Go over the bridge. Basically, go over the bridge and go into the parking lot. But instead of turning left to get out of the way you came in, keep going straight through the parking lot and kind of around the parking lot. And there's the ice cream store.
Yep. You got to go over a little hump of grass.
Yep.
No big deal. I feel like we're in love with Thompson. Can I move on to GOAT or just one GOAT and continue the love fest of Thompson?
Sure. Go for it.
All right. We're all sharing here.
I feel like Jeff's about to make an excuse.
No, there's no excuse here.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
I want to talk a little bit about the history of Thompson. We go to a lot of tracks. I recently discovered there was a golf course here. We discovered that there was ice cream here. Everyone's like, Jeff, you're an asshole. How did you not know there was a golf course here?
Because golf is stupid. That's why.
I know.
No, but it was very
evident. I
evident.
went on a rant on our Slack channel about my feelings on golf.
It was very evident. You have to drive by it. So it's like, duh. It's like, duh.
But I want to mention that the history of Thompson Speedway is strong. This began as an oval course, one of the biggest oval courses in New England, in the 20s or the 30s. I just read it like a minute ago. You think I would remember what it was, but there is some fantastic history on the website of Thompson Speedway, and I want to get to check out those MGs.
Ooh, look at all those MGs.
Right?
Ooh, there we go.
What a slow race.
Yeah. Very slow race. Look at
so much oil.
So much oil.
Like, but here, look at this. There's a guy I guess is he a corner worker?
He's standing on a
Is-
55
Yeah, nuts
gallon
and
drum
tires.
right next
Oh, I
to
thought
the
it was
track.
some
drum.
tires.
Nope, that is a pit crew
f-
guy telling
yeah.
someone. Yeah.
55 gallon drum. Look at all the trees. Like you used to be able to just slide off the track and hit trees.
Yep.
Hay
Ooh,
Or hay
an
bales.
allard. Look at that.
Yeah.
Is that what that is? An Allard?
That's an
Nice.
Allard. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah.
have called that.
With I think it's a
Uh,
Bentley behind it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't go backwards. The
The 356
yeah,
energy.
our little
Yep.
picture here. Here's some of the just men of machines driving until they die with nothing but.
These little like midgets and they were wearing their leather helmets
Yeah.
and goggles. Yep.
So
Oh,
so
this
basically,
is a multi-use facility even before that was cool.
yeah, like this was in the days of midget. This was a very very important oval, and then they in the 40s they made this road course. And when kind of the midget scene died, NASCAR started coming here.
Oh,
And
that is
the
a
road
pair
racing-
of birdcage Maseratis.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
Yeah, the
Ugh.
cars that have raced here. I'm gonna go back to that one if I can figure out where the arrow is. Here it is. Look at these amazing cars. Like there has been some serious, and again, look at the people all standing in. This is terrible podcast for those who are
Just
listening.
there's a
Yeah,
dirt
yeah, it
hill,
really is.
and they're just
Yeah.
standing on this dirt
like a
hill
6-foot
outside
berm,
the track.
If
If
you're
the-
not checking this out on YouTube, take a minute, go to the Thompson website.
ThompsonSpeedway.com/track-history. And it's got all these photos, and these are amazing.
Yeah, there is just some amazing stuff in here. And I wanted to get to near the end here because there's one for. our
Ooh, look
buddy-
at that. All those Porsches
Sorry.
into turn one.
Yeah, there's some color stuff here. We're
Ah,
starting to get into
yeah.
color things here. But there's one here that I know will make.
Oh,
Oh,
there we
there's
go.
someone going into the berm.
Yeah, yeah, I'll go back to that one. We got like a
Yeah.
live action crash. The yellow flag is flying as the car is going.
Oh,
I don't know what's going on there. But
Alpha.
look at this. Look at
Mm.
this Alpha with a
It's a-
license tag on it.
It's like a 59 Alpha Julia or Spider. Actually, it's whatever
believe
which
it
one
is,
it was
yeah.
then.
gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Again, it's like
Apexing a
driving,
hay bale. Yeah.
with his
look-
hubcaps. His
like
hubcaps
driving
are on.
through the woods with his hubcaps on and his license plate on.
I think that's turn 3.
Oh, you
That's
do?
what it
Okay,
used to
let me
like.
look.
That's my guess, based on the road behind it, and it's a left-hander.
Wow, you're
My
right.
guess is that's turn 3.
Look at all the trees that used to be
Yeah.
there. You know what? We think we live in the best of times, but man, so look at this one
Oh,
right here.
how many of those people died?
I'm going to go
Seriously.
with Chrissy on this one.
You're right,
I feel
you're
like,
right,
no,
you're right.
I'm going to go with
Oh, we
really
had the
are.
best of times. This was so cool.
seriously,
Running
look
into
at that-
hay bales that didn't actually slow you
Look at
down.
that bell-bottomed freak right there on
Right?
the straightaway.
Yep.
Just jump over the bollard there. Cool. We lived in the best of times.
I'm sorry. I think that's awesome.
All
I
those
think we-
people died.
I think that maybe it's just me, but
Yep,
I
it
always
is.
thought about the tracks, the great tracks that we go to, and I always thought about the big NASCAR places and the country club places. But man, Little Thompson, an important part of history. I am saying that Thompson
Is it
might be
he?
the GOAT track.
Yeah, all right. I'm prepared to accept that. They need more showers though, so you don't have to, shower with overly familiar Polish people.
Who'd say it's okay not to?
You just have to go at the right times. Truth.
Which is the
Don't-
middle of the night.
or
very
I go right after my shift.
Yeah.
I go at like 2 p.m. and there's nobody in there.
Green flag, checker flag, best
sure.
times every track to get a shower.
Yeah, you're not
I was
wrong.
busy during green flag.
Mhm.
Anyway,
sure.
does anyone have anything else? Do we need to wrap it? Welcome back, Mental.
Welcome back, Jeff. And-
Check
and-
us
and
all
thanks for-
out on the
thanks for,
Garage Heroes.
Keeping everything going, Chris and Chrissy.
No problem.
Yeah.
We got it.
All right.
Yeah,
do we
you
have
do.
Any idea what we're doing next week?
Yes, we do. We're gonna
The
tell
Thompson hangover.
all y'all about the carnage.
Hopefully not real carnage. And
And-
Chrissy, I forgot to say, I said it privately. We're glad that you and the Mazda 3 are doing okay with your little off-course excursion.
I'm fine. I went at like
I know
2
you're
miles
fine
now.
because I talked to you like right after, but
It's all good.
I-
Thanks
I-
for your
I know
concern.
people work asking. So
It's very nice. Thank you.
all right. So thank you all. Thank you to everybody for coming. Thank you for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even Bill. I love that. I'm going to use that next time, Chris. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Even if you hated us, talk to us. Tell us why you love us. Tell us what you don't like. Tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. Mental, have you been getting junk pictures? Because we've been pitching
you know what?
the phone
It
number
is
for a while.
it's slowed down a little bit. It's
All right.
yeah, I didn't
Hey,
get any
Must
junk
make you
in
disappointed
July.
to not get junk pictures.
Yeah.
Every now and again we get some really
484.
interesting junk.
So yeah, he's been away.
I've got a lot of McClure porn in there.
Oh, really? I don't know what that is. You can text pictures of your junk to Mental 484-243-0455. Find us on Instagram or Twitter at everyone.racers, YouTube, Facebook, everyone.racers, Reddit /E1R. Mental, are we on the TikTok? No.
No, we are not. We have been kicked off the TikTok. We have no idea. We'll get that stuff back
Somehow
up.
we've been banned or shadow banned. I don't know what happened. The TikTok has disappeared. We'll pimp it when we get it back. Thanks again. And until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless, like us, there is no shiny side, then just keep those wheels down. And we ran out of music.
Means you talk too much.
Rusty parts are hard.
You know it's not hard? Clicking that like and subscribe button.